Hello, it's me, Dr. C. Welcome. Let me put my headphones in here. Let me know that you can hear me and see me. Let's talk about something really, really important today. I want to talk about where we are at this point in the year because it's at this point in the year every year that it really hits me that if we are not careful and mindful and deliberate and expeditious, we run the risk of you going another year without getting pregnant. And if you've been in a cycle of not getting pregnant when you want to get pregnant month after month and year after year, then you understand how bad it feels to arrive at Mother's Day again not pregnant, to arrive at Christmas or the winter holidays again and not be pregnant, to arrive at New Year's again, to see a new year beginning, and you still don't have the baby you've been dreaming of, and you still don't have the pregnancy that you've been dreaming of. So rather than keep waiting and kind of zoning out the time that's passing until it's right before you and it hits you like a ton of bricks, I want to have this discussion out in the open in a really conscientious way so that we can figure out a way forward for you so that this doesn't have to be the story of 2024 and 2025 and the story that you suffered through in 2023 and 2022 doesn't have to keep going. That's my intention and my goal and my hope with having this conversation, which I know is not easy, but I feel is very important to have because at this time of year, I start to feel tremendous urgency on your behalf. I have my super babies, and I'm pretty sure that my super family is complete. I'm not 100% sure that we're not going to have any more super babies, but I feel that I've come to a place where I feel like we are our family of 5 is the complete family. And so I really feel this urgency on your behalf, on behalf of you and the women just like you who we serve every day at the Fertility and Pregnancy Institute, who are in our village but haven't yet taken the step to come into trimester with us and aren't where they need to be. So let's just kind of break down where we are at this point in the year because I think this is really, really critical. So first thing is that we have, I believe it's 307 days or 306 days left in the calendar year. So what that tells me is that we have only 2 trimesters left in 2024. Okay, so if you are not pregnant yet, there's probably not enough time to get pregnant and give birth within 2024. But there is plenty of time to complete your trimester and get pregnant and be well into your second and even third trimester before the end of the calendar year and give birth early in 2025. And in fact, let's just focus on summer as a target for getting pregnant, and I'll explain why in just a minute. And if you get pregnant in summer, you will be giving birth in the spring of 2025. So either just at the end of Q1 of 2025 or early in Q4. So March or April, depending on what month you're getting pregnant in the summertime. Okay. All right. So let's just come back to the numbers so that we have these guideposts to help us figure out where we're going and how to get there. So first of all, we have 306 or 307 days left in the calendar year for 2024. The average pregnancy is 10 months, not 9 months, and that's 280 days. That's calculated from the first day of your last period because the period leading up to ovulation or the cycle that will result in ovulation that where that egg gets fertilized and becomes a baby is considered part of the pregnancy. So that's 280 days, okay? 10 months. So the average pregnancy, not all pregnancies, because some go longer, some are shorter, but the average pregnancy is 280 days. The average trimester is 120 days. Some people have a shorter trimester, some people have a longer trimester, but the average trimester is 120 days. And that's what we recommend for you, that you trimester for 120 days, unless you have a very specific reason why you want an accelerated, abbreviated trimester. Okay, so if the average trimester is 120 days, then that means there are only 2 complete trimesters left in 2024. So that means that if you haven't started your trimester yet, you want to start your trimester as soon as possible. If you begin trimestering today or this week, let's say, so tomorrow is March 1st, which is okay. So let's say you start trimestering in March. So March, April, May, June will be your trimester. That means that either the very end of June or the sometime in July, depending on how your cycle falls. And one of the first things that you'll do in your trimester protocol is set your PCD, which is your projected conception date. And I give you the exact tools and the type of calendar to use to set this PCD. I know it can be scary when you've been trying over and over again for so long to set your PCD, but it's really incredible how this specificity really gets the brain dialed in helping you to achieve your goal. You would be shocked how many people actually conceive on or right around their PCD. Sometimes the PCD isn't perfect because you'll go based on your average cycle length, and we teach you how to calculate your exact fertile window and your peak fertility days with incredible precision, the most incredible precision humanly possible without ultrasound. And what are considered peak fertility days are now different from what you've been taught. We know that from the most recent scientific data. So we teach you all about this, okay? And so your projected conception date will be based on all of those pieces of data which you collect on your body. And I teach you a very specific way of collecting your body's biomarkers, your body's data. And I have a very exciting announcement about that another time. I'll share that with you sometime later this week. Okay, so you'll calculate your PCD, and your PCD, if you begin trimestering, let's say early March, tomorrow, in the next few days. Now, the trimester protocol doors are not open right this minute. So that may not be possible for you if you are not in the trimester already. But let's just take this as an example, okay? Let's say you start trimestering March 1st. Your PCD will probably be in early to mid July, which means that you will be giving birth in the end of March or beginning of April if you get pregnant at that time. All right. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is that it's really easy for the year to get away from you now if you're not careful. What I want you to do right now is to focus on how you can get pregnant by summertime. If you get pregnant by summertime, then you will be approximately 6 months pregnant by the end of the year. So you'll be well into your second trimester, moving into your third trimester, and you'll be giving birth in the end of Q1, beginning of Q2 in springtime, okay, of 2025. So this is a goal I want you to set for yourself, to dedicate yourself to, commit to, and to work toward every single day. And if you are trimestering now, you have time to complete a full 120-day trimester and to be pregnant by summertime. So that should be your goal. All right. So I will be back to see you again tomorrow. I want to move into our third step in the 13 stages of healthy conception. So we have focused on the antral follicle stage in the month of January and on egg maturation in the month of February. A lot of our discussion in the month of February centered around the underlying root cause of abnormality, which is what is the underlying root cause for most fertility challenges and pregnancy complications. So not being able to get pregnant naturally, having failed IVF, not staying pregnant, experiencing miscarriage, having problems with embryos when you're doing IVF. All of these scenarios have at their root abnormality, and below that, the primary pathway through which abnormality occurs is through aging, through age, but not just chronological age or age in number, but biological epigenetic reproductive age. That's why so many more people are having fertility challenges, including miscarriages earlier in life than we used to see, because there's this accelerated physiological aging or wear and tear that's happening as a result of the mismatch between our modern world, the modern world that we live in today, and the world that our reproductive biology evolved to function and thrive in. But it's also why we can be in our late 30s and 40s and still get pregnant, stay pregnant, and have our super babies. That's where all the leverage is. That's where we need to focus. That's what all of the levers and pathways in the Primester protocol focus on. And I want you to remember that you have the power to shape your biological epigenetic reproductive age. And that is where your opportunity lies, even if you fear that you're too quote unquote old or too far along in your reproductive span because you've been told that, you've read certain statistics, etc. That's why at the Fertility and Pregnancy Institute, our FPI Primester Super Baby Mamas are 40.6 years old on average, so almost 41 years old on average, even though the average age at first birth in the United States is 26 years old. So what is that? A difference of almost 15 years? Do I have that math right? That's pretty remarkable. And that is possible. That's not a possible 100% of the time, but that is possible the vast majority of this time, up to 95 or 97% of the time. Okay, so I will see you again tomorrow. We're going to move into our third stage of the 13 stages of healthy conception tomorrow. And we're going to keep talking about how to make it more likely that you will get pregnant by summer so that you do not allow this year to go by and still be in that loop of struggle and frustration because you're no closer to your baby and family goals than you were last year or the year before. I don't want to see that happen. So we're going to keep talking about this so that we can make real progress. I'll be back to see you tomorrow. If you're joining me today, I can't wait to be with you. We're going to be talking about how to reduce miscarriage risk in order to achieve pregnancy in 2024, healthy pregnancy in 2024. If you're joining me, I'll see you shortly. If you don't have access to join me, but you want to join me, please email support@fertilitypregnancy.org, support@fertilitypregnancy.org, and the team will help you get set up so that you can join me. I send you off with warmest wishes and super baby dust, and I'll be back to see you tomorrow. Thank you for spending this time together.